So here's a question that's been bugging me lately. Is negative status damage slowly becoming a mistake in Wuthering Waves? It started as one of the most interesting mechanics in the game, a way to reward you for stacking debuffs and timing skills. But now it feels like a trap compared to how flexible and effective other damage types have become, especially echo skill damage. And the worst part? It didn't have to end up this way. Yo, welcome back to the channel. Kamusta sinyong lahat? Are you tired of your miserable existence? Always complaining and raging when things in Wuthering Waves don't go your way? Let's change all of that by becoming pay to win. Get a head start on your 3.0 asteroid farming with a 24% discount from Loot Bar. It's the quick, safe way to keep your top-ups cheap and painless. Their prices beat in-game rates, and if you use my link below, you'll get an extra 10% off your first Lunite subscription, Battle Pass, or refill. Gotcha veterans swear by their reliability. They're basically the Trustpilot MVPs. And the best part? Their DIY top-up system means no sketchy password sharing. I use them myself because saving money in Gotcha isn't optional, it's survival. So if you're planning a pull, your wallet's new best friend is waiting. Hit the link, support the channel, save some cash, and reduce your rage. Now, back to the video. When Spectro, Rover, and Phoebe first came out, the concept of negative status damage sounded like a fresh addition. It was exciting. Damage over time, scaling from debuffs. That's some Harry Potter-type wizardry. On paper, it added strategic depth, but as the roster expanded, the flaws became clear. Negative status characters were built in isolation, designed to function only within their archetype. Zani and Carlotta carried the torch, but they also revealed the cracks in the system. Instead of expanding team-building possibilities, negative status boxed players in. You can see it in how limited the roster is. There's no 4-star unit that can apply something as basic as arrow erosion. The only characters that can trigger these effects are premium units explicitly designed around it. That kills flexibility. Players can't mix and match teams freely. You're either all in on negative status, or you're better off avoiding it altogether. It's supposed to be a new layer of gameplay, not a gated community. When you compare this to other damage types, it feels kind of out of pace. For example, echo skill damage. It may not roll a substat in your echoes, but it is the same idea as other damage types. Kuro games didn't drop everything at once, thus the pacing was smoother, allowing us to enjoy Cantarella in non-echo skill damage comps. Then Rover released, whose echo skill damage happened off-field, letting her sidestep the problem of not having echo skill supports. Then came Choiwen, who introduced actual echo skill buffing through his outro, expanding the archetype's potential without restricting it. The evolution felt smooth, organic, and rewarding. Echo skill damage characters could coexist with others, and they didn't punish players for not having the right puzzle piece. That's the major difference. Negative status damage is rigid. Echo skill damage is modular. One locks you in, the other invites experimentation. And the irony is that negative status was supposed to make team building deeper, but it ended up doing the opposite. Chisa might be the turning point. She has the potential to redefine how negative status is used, if Kuro Games plays their cards right. Instead of treating it as a self-contained gimmick, Chisa could make negative status function more like a universal mechanic. The good news is it feels like they're trying to tweak her kit to be the negative status equivalent to the Shorekeeper. Her debuffs are universal and applies to all types of negative status effects, even those that aren't released yet. And her kit tends to benefit a little from enemies affected by negative status, despite her low base multipliers. The problem is her debuff effect only lasts for 15 seconds. That is a very short window, given that Carlotha's full rotation alone takes about that much time. When you only have Arrow Rover as your other arrow generator, he lingers like a wet fart for almost that entire duration. Even Phoebe tends to linger before she could fill her concerto bar. This means in order to fully utilize Chisa, you need to properly manage the concerto and energy regen of your status effect generators to be able to maximize her debuff. If Kuro wants negative status to survive, they need to stop treating it as an exclusive club and perhaps liberalizing it a little, and allowing less tedious on-field micromanagement. Imagine Chisa, for example, has a longer buff window, or if she could take advantage of debuffs applied by non-negative status-generating units. Suddenly, the system would feel alive again. And here's a big one. She can allow non-negative status-generating units to be able to generate 3 stacks as well. This would let players explore creative team compositions without needing to commit fully to one archetype. That's what makes Echo skill damage successful. You can slot in an Echo-based DPS, a heavy attacker, or a support, and still make it work. Why does this damage type be boxed in an exclusive club? Why not make it accessible for all with units who can trigger non-negative status units to become negative status units? And let's face it, negative status feels static. It hasn't evolved since its debut. Carthethia may have shown us the possibilities, but they didn't change how the archetype functions at its core. Every new addition feels like a reskin rather than an evolution. The entire system needs a character who can redefine what it means to deal negative status damage, and Chisa, with her unique connection to debuff-oriented combat, might be that missing piece. Echo skill damage didn't succeed because it was inherently better. It succeeded because Kuro games built it with patience. They gave players time to adapt, to test, to grow into the system. Negative status never got that luxury. It jumped from concept to full commitment too quickly, leaving no room for flexibility. That's why it feels outdated compared to everything else. If Kuro wants negative status to remain relevant heading into future patches, Chisa needs to act as a bridge. Her design should let players mix negative status with other archetypes instead of locking them out. She could be the first step towards making the system more fluid, rewarding creativity rather than punishing those who don't own a specific unit. Because at the end of the day, the goal of any new damage type should be to expand the game's depth, not narrow it. Echo skill damage did that beautifully. Negative status didn't. And if Kuro doesn't take a cue from how they handled Echo skills, negative status might just become another outdated mechanic left behind by power creep. So, what do you think? Can Chisa really fix negative status, or is the archetype too far gone? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you've got your own ideas on how Kuro could balance it, I'd love to hear them. If this video resonated with you, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for massive damage buffs. Ring the bell if you want to receive even greater gacha blessings. Thank you so much for watching, maraming salamat po, and I will see you in the next video drop. Goodbye.